Oh, wow.
I had Brock Bowers in my lineup in my flex, and he went down. They said he was out. He was questionable up until like an hour before. So I'm at work on my phone on the Yahoo app trying to figure out how to move players.
Oh, boy.
I Joshua Palmer because he was one of the few that were out there on the waiver.
Yeah.
So I could have anybody because I didn't want a zero. And I certainly don't want to lose to Josh.
You don't want to lose. You definitely don't.
LT, you weren't going to lose when Josh Allen ran in his second touchdown, much less the third touchdown.
Look at how poor my players play. If it wasn't for him.
Or Josh Jacobs, when you talk about him and his hat trick. Hey, let me tell you something. I was going against Josh Jacobs, so I was sweating it. And in the league I was going against Josh Jacobs, thankfully I had Josh Allen bail me out. So I was very fortunate. But I wasn't as greedy as Larry.
Hang on, hold on now, Mr. Cooper Curse. Didn't I have Kenneth Walker, and didn't you start Zach Charbonnet?
Well, hey.
Didn't I have to take Kenneth Walker out of my lineup?
That wasn't the Cooper Curse. I picked up Zach Charbonnet like 4 weeks ago because I had one of my bipocalypse, and I could just say I just need a guy that's going to get carries, and and then by then I was eliminated from playoffs, so I didn't do it. And see, Mr. 401 LT, what I try to do is I try to limit my drop ads if I'm mathematically eliminated. I'm still going to play to win. And but I'm not going to be out there doing the waiver wire and picking up, I'm going to most like, I'm not going to do a Robert. I'm not going to pick up every single quarterback when Lacy has a bye week and he's out of the playoff and he has 7 quarterbacks just so she can't pick up a quarterback. I don't do that. I don't do that. No, I'm going to let the people, hey, they earned their way in the playoffs. I'm going to let them do. Now, I'm not going to, I'm still going to play. I'm still going to play to win, but I'm not going to work the waiver wire like I usually did. Charbonnet was not a pickup, so LT, I apologize about having Charbonnet on my roster, but that was a pre-playoff move. That wasn't a pickup to block or anything like that. I'm going to let you guys have fun in the playoffs, and I'm just going to play my lineup. And heck, I almost lost. I was going against the last place team, Mr. 4-1, who just happened to have Jordan Addison in there scoring 3 touchdowns. I said, who is this? I can't even. And I said, I had no favors in the 4-1 league, but then when Charbonnet just went off, he kind of bailed me out.
Oh yeah, well, welcome to the show, y'all. Week 14 playoffs in some leagues, and the last week of regular season in some leagues. So we'll have an off-season owners manager meeting and try to see if we want to make any adjustments to our regular season in the listener league as it pertains to that. We'll get the pros and cons on that, and if we have time, maybe we could dive into that just a little bit today. Just depending on how our show flows.
Okay.
But we're gonna get the party started. Yes, we are back for one SportsWorld Fantasy Football Show. We are in the playoffs, as Jim Morris says. Follow us on Instagram, QR code. Same thing on TikTok. And then also remember, we are on 411 SportsWorld Network on YouTube. What's going on, gentlemen? LT and the calculator are in the house.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. And, hey, got a great show lined up for us, don't we, Mr. Foreman? We have a lot to go over and what happened, especially in the listener league, which starts a little early for some people. We started our playoffs in the listener league this past week.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to find out what happened with LT and Josh or where it stands.
Copier Bowl 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, Copier Bowl. Yeah, we got more Copier Bowls than Super Bowls, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome everybody. So we're gonna get into the week 14 discussions. Any news and notes that we need to go over, Cal?
Absolutely, man. It's jam packed because you need the news and notes now. Hey, Mr. 411, that's why we want people to like, subscribe, and notify. And then, of course, sharing is caring as well. But you need that notification button because you never know when we're going to be on. We try to be on as when our schedules allow for it. But hey, Saints, my Saints, haven't their season's kind of been like my fantasy football season, not very good. But hey, they've been much better when Derek Carr is out there. Unfortunately, fractured his left hand in Sunday's win over the Giants. That is his non-throwing hand. However, it is going to cost him time. If you're looking for a timeline for return, there's nothing out there yet. However, he could miss the rest of the season, especially with them out of playoff contention. He should be replaced by Jake Haener. With their on their upcoming matchup. Exactly. But hey, you can't get much worse than what Spencer Rattler. But no offense to Spencer Rattler. Hey, I'm going to give Spencer Rattler a pass for his starts. And the reason I'm going to do that is I watched the Saints, and when Rattler was in there, they were down 4 folks, offensive linemen. They were down 3 starters, and then a guy that was backing up one of the starters, he got hurt. So they were down 4 linemen when Rattler. And the only reason Haener is a better pocket passer, more accurate. However, Rattler is more of a scrambler, so that's why Rattler was in there. Well, now that most of their offensive lines starting to get healthy, and the replacements that are in there are getting more experience, they're going to say, okay, now we're going to go back to the pocket passer in there. And the Saints are still without Olave, and I think Olave is done for the season just because of all the concussions he has. And again, no playoffs, no worries. So they're just going to play out the string, see what happens. And just, give their backup quarterbacks some more experience. For the mere fact is they want, they're not going to be able to keep Derek Carr forever, but they're not going to re-sign him once his contract's up. They're going to, write off the $100 million that's still in the books when the time's right. Derek Carr, I think he's got one more year with the Saints personally. But yeah, I think they want to get these guys more experience. No need to rush in a guy with a broken hand. But yeah, if you had Derek Carr in Superflex leagues or Derek Carr as a backup, bye weeks are over, folks. You don't need these backup quarterbacks. If you have one stud running back, example like LT, you can ride Josh Allen for the rest of the year, in my honest opinion. Raiders, Aiden O'Connell was carted off the field. I know LT's not liking this. And you can say, why is LT worried about Aiden O'Connell? He's not his quarterback. He has a main target of a Brock Bowers who was benefiting from Aiden O'Connell chucking the ball. Trust me, the targets from Aiden O'Connell are a lot more quality than targets from Desmond Ridder. Just ask any Falcons fan about the Desmond Ridder experience. But yes, Aiden O'Connell doesn't look good, head coach Sean Pierce said. So yeah. Now, you don't bench Brock Bowers. You don't do anything. You don't get crazy because Brock Bowers is still the best. He's just not going to get the production he got like he did in that Kansas City game because the quality targets aren't going to be there. Hey, the quantity might be there. Quality won't take a hit, but still, Brock Bowers is still a startup and start guy. Bucky Irvin, who's been a darling, LT highlighted him just last week, was on the stud list last week, got knocked out of the first half of Sunday's game, back injury, folks. As we get all older, myself included, I can get a back injury from a violent sneeze. You know what I'm saying? As you get older, so they're very tricky. And when you hurt your back, I mean, it could linger, and I can't imagine a running back. But the guy is young and healthy. But the pleasant side or the light side for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got. Hey, Rachaad White stepped right into his full workhorse role and, helped. And then Sean Tucker, their third string, he has plenty of experience this year. So he's out there and can get some quality touches in there. So they're not going to have to rush. Thing is, after the third or fourth consecutive loss, Mr. 4-1 of the Falcons, all of a sudden Tampa Bay is the leader of the division. So, that's definitely something to keep a look of. Yeah, it's crazy for a team that hadn't lost a division game, but now they can't seem to win a game. The Kirk Cousins, slump continues. Another one, oh man, the LT's waiver wire pickup of the week, Isaiah Guerendo suffered a foot injury. Luckily it was in the fourth quarter. Luckily it was after he already had 2 touchdowns, but unfortunately it's a short week. They play this Thursday night, so that could be it's going to be harder to turn that around. So we'll talk about in the waiver wire how that affects the waiver wire going forward. We'll do that in the waiver wire section. Jonathan Brooks came in, non-contact right injury. That is his newly repaired injury. So we don't know the extent of that injury. But again, Canales said that there's more tests to be said, and so we'll learn more as the week goes on. However, when you got Chuba Hubbard doing what Chuba Hubbard does, you really don't. They were just trying to get Jonathan Brooks in, just some low, just some playing experience. They weren't getting them, to try to win games. And it's just an unfortunate non-contact injury is usually the worst kind. But I don't want to, But hey, a lot of people cut, and well, I know two people in two separate leagues. Jonathan Brooks got cut as soon as Chuba Hubbard signed the extension, because they say they're not as comfortable with Jonathan Brooks if you're going to sign an extension to Chuba Hubbard. So I think that was writing on the wall for a lot of people. So yeah, Jonathan Brooks, if you are using an active roster spot, I might cut your losses now as well, because they have nothing to play for. So no reason to put Jonathan Brooks. Chuba Hubbard is your guy going forward. So any other news, LT, that you know of that I didn't cover?
No, looks good so far. We'll pick up on these waiver wires.
Yeah.
Waiver wires are going to be hot and steady this week.
Yeah. I want to throw two names in there for you guys.
Okay.
Bucky Irvin and Lad McConkey. What about them two?
Oh,
did I miss something on those?
I went over Bucky Irvin going out. But the Lad McConkey, that was like a late scratch. LT was just talking about that at the beginning. He was scrambling. Kenneth Walker, another. Hey, Mr. For One, you got any news on what happened to Kenneth Walker? I was surprised when I got. Luckily it came a day early. Unfortunately, though, Charbonnet was pretty much gone in a lot of leagues. A lot of people had Charbonnet already, because and then he showed what he could do as a workhorse. But yeah, I don't know to the extent of and Charbonnet did so effective. Are they going to rush Kenneth Walker to third out? What do you think, Mr. 401?
I wouldn't rush him back. Charbonnet is a tough, strong back. He can hold the fort down for a couple weeks. The Seattle, key victories, and they're still in the race and everything. So I would just rest him, because you're going to need him for the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs is when you really want the guy. So, and Seattle's got some tough matchups on the board. Granted, they're at home the next two games against Green Bay and Minnesota, but both are solid against the run. But it's one of those things. I'm with you, Mr. 401. Just rest. Although they are a must win, because it is so tight in the division. The Rams got suddenly back in the mix. San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco looked very good last week against a good Chicago team. But yeah, now Seattle gets. What's crazy is the schedule, Mr. 401. Seattle has 3 teams in a row from non-division foes, and the Green Bay, the Minnesota, Chicago. 3. You can say Chicago, but it's at Chicago. Chicago still has a tough defense. I don't care what people say. I take that San Francisco game really off the board, in my opinion, because Chicago's always been tough. So Seattle's got some tough games ahead, and they need all the wins they can get, especially if the Rams get hot and the 49ers can get healthy, to see what happens. So, but yeah, but I'm with you. I think as long as Charbonnet did what he did, no need to rush Kenneth Walker back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to the waiver wires, then, gentlemen.
Well, you want to do studs and duds first, Mr. 401, before we get in that?
Sure. Okay. Let's go to studs and duds.
Hey, stud.
The graphics.
Yeah. I said Charbonnet right off the top of my head. LT.
I got one.
What about you, LT? What's your stud?
I'm guessing my stud would be Josh Allen.
I was trying to. If you were, oh my goodness, just look at that. Hey, but folks, that says 51 points. That's standard. Your regular in our league where you get points per carry. Josh Allen had over 60 points. No kidding.
Oh my God!
And we'll go, and I'll go over his exact. I think his exact number in our league, Mr. 401, was 60.38. in our league. So yeah, he was quite good. But Jordan Addison, I felt that Jordan Addison, hey, and you get the quarterback on there, Sam Darnold. Well, yeah, he didn't have just 3. He had 5 touchdowns because 2 of them went to Justin Jefferson. So welcome back. But hey, the Falcons do what the Falcons do. They don't pressure the quarterback, and if you give Sam Darnold time, he shows that he can carve people. And Puka Nacua, some of those catches were just unreal. I can't say anything about it. I mean, he was just really good. And, Cooper Kupp, he did his thing. I mean, definitely wasn't in Puka Nakua's level, but he was definitely, Puka Nacua just, broke the bank for a lot of people.
Amazing, man. What performances, man. And you're right about Atlanta, man. I don't know what it is with them. They're good within the division, but outside the division, boy. Yeah. But I will say this though, a lot of teams have been successful offensively against the Falcons this year. For some reason, because I thought Atlanta was supposed to have these defensive backs that were supposed to be so great.
Well, Mr. 4-1, they're too busy drafting skill players with their first round picks. Eventually, that's going to catch up with you. I mean, you got Bijan Robinson. Yeah, there's usually like last year or 2 years ago, they could have had the top defensive player in that draft. Instead, they went with Bijan Robinson. So that's all about. And then Kyle Pitts. Remember he was a top pick for the Falcons back in the day, and we're showing what he's doing. So the Falcons just need to Drake London. Like I said, I can go pick after pick after pick, all these skill players, and not one of them defense. And people want to know why their defense is help. They're not getting any help. They're Jesse Bates. He just got roasted on that Justin Jefferson pass for his wide open touchdown. So yeah, but I that's why we need to bring Brooks on the show when he has a chance, and because he can break down the Falcons left and right since he's a big fan. I just know their first round draft picks were not defensive players.
Amen to that. Oh, the game last night. Yeah, Matthew Wright. The price is right.
And I picked up Matthew Wright in one of my leagues. I had McPherson, the kicker for Cincinnati. I had the backup for Kansas City, the kicker. I can't remember his name now. Schrader, I think his name was. Well, he got hurt, so that's why they bring in the third stringer. And it was so great, Mr. 4-1. They were saying on the show, yes, Matthew Wright, he's more of the short distance. He's very accurate. Man, he bombed that 50-yarder in that cold weather like it was nothing. And then he comes in for that 37-yard field goal and doinks it off the crossbar to win the game. So, but yeah, hey, anytime you can pick up a Kansas City kicker, pick him up. You know why? Because Andy Reid I love Andy Reid. He says he don't care about analytics. He takes points when they're available. And you know what? It works. There's Andy Reid. Andy Reid is only has one loss, and he goes against analytics. Him and Bill Belichick. You always say Bill Belichick, one of the greatest of all times. That's all he did was kick field goals. Folks, field goals win games, and that's
that adds up.
Yes, it does. Because man, when you're passing up 3 points halfway through the third quarter, you can't predict the future. Get your points now because that's going to affect you down the road. So yeah, that's what some of these guys get. Oh, Mr. 4-1, I just have flashback. I had Jaden Reed in 2 of my lineups this past week. we talked about bipolar, right? Jaden Reed got as many points as everybody was on their bye week.
Yeah, you might as well not put it. Yes. Yeah, you might as well leave your lineup, your spot blank.
It's like, man, you had your the Zay Flowers off this past week. You had Terry McLaurin off this past week. So you had a lot of people that was off. I mean, Sutton was off this past week. Nico Collins. I'm just naming all these wide receivers. So hey, I got to put in Jaden Reed, right? 0 points, folks. That is not a misprint. And
you want to know why that happened? That happened because Josh Jacobs had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So well, Josh Jacobs and I'm sorry, the quarterback. I tried to help him by not saying his correct name last year, but I'm telling you, He was bad that first. I think he had 35 yards passing in the first half. So I think Jayden Reed was a product of Josh Jacobs and the ineffectiveness of Jordan Love. So Jayden Reed was got it from both sides. And we can't say it was bad weather. We can't say they were indoors, folks, and they were against a team, folks. The Detroit Lions had seven starting defensive players out due to injuries, and Jordan Love still couldn't make them pay. So I don't know. If I'm a Green Bay fan, that hot finish to the end of the year is a distant memory because he looked shaky out there. And hey, if I'm Green Bay, it's like, hey, I'm going to go with what's proven effective. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is getting it done, so I'm going to use Josh Jacobs.
Green Bay should be happy because they almost beat the number one team in the league.
So, well, yeah,
a field goal is all it was.
You're right, but I think and this goes back to Dan Campbell. How about that call about Dan Campbell on it was like 4th and 1? You could kick the field goal and make it a over a touchdown game, and he says, no, we're going to run it to make sure they don't get the ball. So that was kind of a gutsy move by Dan Campbell. I think, unfortunately, I think it could catch up with him because, it's one of those things. And I'll just flash back a couple years ago, folks, and we'll talk about, Lamar Jackson. It was one of the years where he's number one seeds. They went for it on 4th down all the time, and then they were playing and I get this is. They played Tennessee. It's their matchup in the first round with Tennessee, and they went for it on 4th down 3 straight times. 4th and 1, Tennessee stopped them all 3 times. Tennessee won the game Tennessee was a double-digit underdog going against the number 1 Ravens in that first round. And Tennessee said, "Hey, you go for 4th down. It comes back now." It is what it is, but sometimes you got to play it close. It's not a sin to punt and play defense because that year Baltimore also had a very good defense, but they were giving Tennessee short fields with Derrick Henry. All Derrick Henry had to do was run it 4 times, get in field goal range. Guess what? Tennessee kicked the field goal, and that's why Tennessee wound up winning that game. So yeah, that's just one of those things. I love Dan Campbell. I love how he is, but he could come back to bite him. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, anything else before we go to the waiver wire?
Is there any other studs, LT, that you want to talk? Or duds? You were talking about your roster.
Man, with McConkey not starting until the last minute.
Oh man!
I mean, they had him on the. He went through 2 walkthroughs, and they said they don't have to report until 90 minutes before the game of inactives. And he went up and as inactive, and they posted him as out right before the game. That was the late 8 o'clock game.
Yep.
So you couldn't add any players from the 1 o'clock or the 4 o'clock game.
Right.
Yeah.
He was relegated to just Monday night.
He went down.
But LT, you did what a lot of people. Hey, Josh Palmer was available in a lot of leagues, so that's what you do, folks. Go and pick up the guy that's not on, but he's playing, because if he's playing and the starter's out, he's going to get more routes. And Josh Palmer actually looked pretty good out there. He caught
catches for 78 yards.
Yeah, could have. And Justin Herbert missed him on another. It'd have been like a 60-yard touchdown. He was wide open.
There was one right in the end zone. He just
So he could have been bigger. But yeah, that right. Hey, 13 points in a PPR league. You can't. That's not bad for a starter that's on a free agent wire on last minute. So yeah, that's what you got to do, folks. That's a little strategy there. If you know a guy's a late inactive, you need to hit that waiver wire and get that guy, get a backup in there or something, because hey. I would say, get some points, but, Jayden Reed can show you get 0, but you got a lot of times any points is better than no points, especially when there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of waiver wires, hey, that's what we are.
Yeah, waiver wire, folks. I'm going to go out there. And yes, I'm going to say it, and I can say it because Lacy's not on air. Lacy, we hope you get better. She wasn't, she's a little under the weather, so couldn't join us today. But shout out to Lacy. But I'm gonna talk to her about her man, Aaron Rodgers. Folks, Aaron Rodgers, one of his best games of the season, even though it was a loss to the Dolphins. 339, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Well, guess what, folks? Next week, he plays the Jaguars, one of the league's worst defenses against quarterbacks. Hey, he might not top week 12, but depending on what it is, you could do worse. However, I'm going to caution this: no bye week, so a lot of people do has their starting quarterback going. So that's why I'm just going to touch on one quarterback. Look good. If you're a streamer, he's a streamable guy, going against the Jaguars, especially coming off a week where he was very productive. But hey, we talked about the Garendo injury. Next man up, we briefly talked about him last week was Patrick Taylor. He was the new man. He was the guy. He did come in after Guerrero. It was a sprained foot is what Garendo got. But Taylor carried 7 times, 25 yards, and a touchdown in the wins over the Bears. Newly signed running back Israel Abakanda. We'll just say Israel. Just type in Israel in the search bar because I don't want to try and pronounce that last name again. But hey, next 2 matchups, Rams and Dolphins. So neutral matchups. But again, it's a San Francisco running back. If Garendo misses any time, I would say Israel or Patrick Taylor are worth ads. Tank Bigsby got back into the folks. Tank Bigsby out carried ETN 18 carries to 4. That with he had 55 yards and a score. Now ETN, it looks like they're going to a kind of like a Brian Robinson Jr. Eckler split where Bigsby's getting the carries early on, and ETN is getting there and getting the passing work because he had more targets, more routes than Bigsby, but Bigsby is the pounder. So you got to say, okay, what does that do? Who do I start if I have a Bigsby conundrum? Look at the matchup. They're playing the Jets. I don't see the Jets blowing out the Jaguars. So if it's a close game, what's that mean? That's a game script fit for Bigsby. Raiders, again, neutral matchup. Not going to with Desmond Ritter's not going to blow out the Jaguars. So that's why I think Bigsby is a fine flex type. Now, I'm not going out on the limb saying running back 1, running back 2, because they does have ATN. However, I do say good matchups due to game scripts the next 2 weeks and 2-8. We're in playoffs, folks. So I'm not. If you're one of those guys, if you picked up Garendo to save your season, Bigsby, if he's available, might want to put that bid in. And hey, we touched on it last week, and Lacy took our advice. She picked up Sincere McCormick, the Raiders running back, in one of the leagues I'm in with Lacy. 15 times, 78 yards, 2 or 3 targets for 11 yards. Amir Abdullah, the Amir Abdullah pickup that was highlight 2 weeks ago. 1 carry on 2 targets, right? So, yeah, I think, however, I'm going to throw that. I always like to caution people, and full disclosure, Alexander Madison and Zamir White both are returning from their injuries, so that could put a dent all over. Raiders can say, hey, what do we got to lose? Let's see what we got in this third stringer. We don't have any of these big price running backs. So, but personally, I want to see more Zamir White. He got an audition last year, did well, and then all of a sudden, he started this year and didn't do well. So I need more of a sample size for Zamir White, right? But hey, they got a matchup against the Falcons. We know with the Falcons, and then the Jaguars, and then the Saints for the Raiders. So the Raiders got great matchups coming up. Unfortunately, they have Desmond Ridder as the quarterback. So that I think. But hey, Mr. 41, I got to bring this up there. Everybody was talking about get Braylon Allen for Breece. If Breece Hall gets hurt, you got to go with Braylon Allen. Well, guess what? Isaiah Davis popped out of nowhere. Exactly. He carried 10 times, 40 yards, and a score. Caught 3 of 6 targets, 27 yards. Allen finished with 11 carries and 5 targets. But yeah, from what I understand, and I wish Lacy was here to confirm, but I was talking to her, offline, trying to get her, trying to get a medical diagnosis for Lacy, so to see, how she was feeling. Because Mr. 401, there's been sickness going all around the place. It's crazy this time of year with the change of weather and the rain and stuff like that. But hey, right. Breece Hall, they're not going to shut down Breece Hall, from what I understand. So if he's not shut down, then we go from a 2-headed backfield to a 3-headed backfield. So hey, and I'll be perfectly honest with people. If you have Breece Allen as your running back, you most likely spent a high draft pick, and like myself, you were not in the fantasy playoffs because you were starting him, had to start him because he's not hurt, and he was out there being effective. So that you're playing in the consolation bracket, and I say if you have Brees Hall, if he's starting, you play him. If he's not, hopefully Isaiah Davis, you can pick him up this week because I think he's from what I understand, it was news to me, 96% available in leagues, Mr. 411. So Isaiah Davis, folks, if you need something, and we talked about the Bucky Irving injury, that's a Sean Tucker situation. Rashad White took over the workhorse role, but Sean Tucker, you have to spell Rashad White. And my opinion, Sean, it's kind of like we'll go. Hey, I'll use the Brian Robinson Jr. Eckler, comparison a lot. When you have a guy, Rashad White, that can catch the ball like Eckler, and then you have a guy, Brian Robinson Jr., that can just pound the ball like Sean Tucker. So no, that's another thing they have. Although it's a negative matchup next week because they are playing the Chargers. But hey, after that, Cowboys and Panthers. So hey, if you're in a league, a lot of playoffs are starting. If you are a 1 or 2 seed, you got a bye week this week. Mr. 401 enjoyed his bye week this week, from what I say, and we'll talk about that in the listener league, how effective that is. So this is the time, hey, you can pick up a Sean Tucker because it's a wait and see. You don't have to start him. You got to buy. So all you number 1 and number 2 seeds out there, you looking for depth. If you don't have your handcuffs, if you like, or if you're blocking somebody that might be limping into the playoffs with these running backs, there's nothing wrong with blocking people in the playoffs, Mr. 401. That's a good strategy that LT has employed in his career. So yeah, I'm not adverse to blocking if you're in the playoffs. Kendre Miller, welcome back, folks. Yes, Kendre Miller off the IR. Dennis Allen has hit the road, and the new head coach, he said, new interim head coach said, hey, I don't have a doghouse. If you can play, I want to see what you got. And hey, he carried 10 times over the Giants, 32 yards and a score. So it was right behind Alvin Kamara. They were running Alvin Kamara into the ground. So they had to give him some help. And Kendre Miller, the guy. And if you got if Kamara ever went down, even though it's a lost Sunday, hey, they want to see what Kendre Miller. Hey, if you're a college football fan, you remember the TCU Dream season a couple years ago. They went on that run. A lot of people talk Andy Dalton and Quentin Johnson. It was Andy Dalton and Quentin. Well, you know what? They had a pretty good darn running game, and that was the Kendre Miller show at that time before he tore his ACL before the 14th. That's when he got hurt. Is against at the end of that game in the Big 12 championship game, tore his ACL. But before then, he was dynamic. So Kendre Miller's got some juice, and hopefully he's got some fresh legs because they haven't been using them. Just gotta wait for that. You just gotta stay away from that hamstring injury. Hey, Jalen McMillan bounced back with the Buccaneers. He's available. Caught 4 balls, 59 yards, and 2 scores in the game against the Raiders. His 7 targets led the team with 24% share. McMillan was near an every down player the past 2 weeks and could be a deep lock option again. Don't like the Chargers matchup, but I love the matchups week 16 and 17 against the Cowboys and Panthers, respectively. And hey, Juwan Johnson, my main man, another Saint. Man, all these Saints are glittering the waiver wire, Mr. 411. Hey, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. And yes, I am a Will Disley owner. I am a Dalton Kincaid owner in multiple leagues. I picked up John Johnson with Henry Hunter. Hunter Henry was on a bye this week. He was my fill-in for a lot. And I said, no, I'm going Juwan Johnson. And he delivered. So 5 targets, tied for second on the team, 16% share. With Taysom Hill out for the year, Juwan Johnson looks like a low-end tight end fantasy option. And Derek Carr's injury hurts. But, hey, it's the Commanders. But, again, positive matchups against tight ends, I mind you, against the Packers and the Raiders. And LT's man, yes, Grant Calcaterra, the tight end for the Eagles. Yep. Hey, Goddard's on IR. So we know he's got 3 more weeks left that he has to miss. And all Calcaterra did was caught 3 of his targets, 16 yards and a score. Volume is a concern, but hey, as long as you're with the Eagles, and you got the Steelers up this week, you got New York in the fantasy playoffs. So they got some matchups that are somewhat positive. Now, I'm not going to the Calcaterra well for the mere fact is, I pointed it out, volume. And I don't know if it's you, Mr. 41 or LT. I don't know if y'all seen it, but Jalen Hurts, he ain't passing the ball. He said, we got Saquon Barkley. If you're a A.J. Brown owner, if you're a Devontae Smith owner, and now if you're a Calcaterra prospective owner, keep that in mind. As long as Barkley keeps running the way he's running, Jalen Hurts ain't going to throw the ball. It's as simple as that. And, so I just keep that in mind when it comes to all Eagles pass catchers. But for now, you got any names you might want to mention, LT? You were a great one to you picked out Garindo, and you got Calcaterra last week. You got any names this week?
Well, Xavier Legette had 3 unworldly catches. He is just going to be such a good star if we can get him more playing time, because he is just a superhuman out there playing against. He can catch everything that goes straight up in the air, and he's only owned in 36% of leagues.
Yeah.
So Xavier Legette is definitely a possibility.
And if they're playing from behind. They play from behind. Garbage points are still points for you, Mr. 41. We know that from the Blaine Gabbert, Allen Robinson connection back in the day when they were with the Jaguars.
Absolutely. Points are points. In fantasy football, points are points.
Yes. And I'll throw another tight end. Hey, we tight end such thing. Folks, I mentioned Will Disley. Well, he got hurt. But there was a guy named Stone Smart with 2 T's at the end, folks. Yeah, if you saw, he had one of those sideline catches. I said, Smart's got some soft hands out there, So I'm gonna put that out. If Disley and Hayden Hurst is missing time, so hey, if he's getting the subs, you could do worse than a starting running back, starting tight end. Oh, and guess what? Matchups against Tampa Bay on now. I don't like although tight ends have been somewhat successful against Denver because nobody wants to go against Patrick Surtain. But Tampa Bay on board and New England in championship. The championship game. So you got 2 of your next 3 weeks favorable for if Disley misses time, Hayden Hurst misses time. Stone Smart, folks. Fire them up for those Kincaid owners that don't know Kincaid. Hey, I'm telling you right now, if I know Stone Smart is starting and I got Kincaid coming fresh off his injury, Kincaid has showed me nothing. I might be a little frisky, Mr. 41, and go with an old Stone Smart.
All right. Or Stone Cold. Okay.
And Washington's coming off their bye this week, and Zach Ertz is only owned in 50% of leagues.
Hey, that's a great and Hunter Henry, folks. I like Hunter Henry. When he had his bye week, a lot of people dropped him because of his bye weeks. So that's definitely another guy that I would not be. That New England loves their running backs. Or I'm sorry, their tight ends. What's his name? Andy Van Pelt. Andy Van Pelt, baby, he loves his tight ends. So Andy Van Pelt loves it, and whether it's Hooper or Hunter Henry. Personally, I like the Hunter Henry because no matter he gets it done with volume. Hooper's more of a you're only going to kind of succeed if it's a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Henry just gets volume because he's out there and doing his thing. So yeah, that's another guy. If you're in a tight end desperate league, like I said, I was a Kincaid owner. I'll tell you my story. I own Kincaid in the league. I had him in my starting lineup all week. He was declared out, or actually doubtful not to play, and unfortunately can't put a guy in your IR until he's official. So what I did is I had Hunter Henry. He's on bye week because he's been my safety valve for the Kincaid. So that's what I did is I dropped him. Guess what? Jawan Johnson, baby, was out there, and I picked up Jawan Johnson out there, got me a touchdown. So now, hey, if I'm actually going to drop Jawan Johnson again, because if Kincaid's still out, I'm going to put Hunter Henry. I'm sorry, I love Jawan Johnson, but I do like Hunter Henry more. But yeah, that you can do stuff like that. You just look at those that you have to mine to get the favorable situations. Actually, it wasn't a favorable situation for the Giants. They were like top 10 against tight ends. However, if people remember last week, it was bipocalypse, and the Thursday game had already played. So that's two more teams that you could, of course, you ain't running a Detroit tight end out in there, and Kraft was already owned. So, but anyways, you had minimum options. But I saw Juwan Johnson out there, and again, you couldn't have done Zach Ertz last week because of bipocalypse. But hey, yep. I've done Zach Ertz more than a few times in leagues, just because he Jane Daniels will pass to him. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So Jane Daniels, he passes to the open guy. And Zach Ertz, he's not done yet.
Nope, not at all. But yeah, so that's it. And Lacy Dawson is somewhere here. She says hi, guys.
She's saying hi.
We appreciate Lacy Dawson. We know she's under the weather, but look, she's a gamer. She's gonna, she's gonna still kind of stay in touch with us by any means necessary. And I got a sneaky feeling that the mini draft is coming up, and so she's hanging around.
Yes.
All right, Lacy. We appreciate you being off screen, but on the show. We appreciate that. All right. So we got the waiver wire taken care of. We have Larry's favorite segment coming up now, so that we can take another look at Josh Allen.
Oh, the listener league.
And then followed by the mini draft, which is Lacy's favorite segment.
Yes.
All right. So let's jump to the listener league, and let's see what else has to be said out of here. Oh, okay. You're welcome. We thank you, Lacy Dawson.
Hey, Lacy.
Drink some wine, Lacy.
Is Lacy going to be? Yeah. Is Lacy going to be able to type in her mini draft picks?
I think what she can do is put it right there in the comment section.
Hey, if she wants to, Lacy, you can do that when you're up since you're listening live. And we do appreciate you listening live, Lacy, even though you're feeling under the weather. Again, hope you get feeling better soon. We always enjoy Lacy and her Omahas when she's on the stream.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Now, quick listener league review. We had our playoffs start a week early, folks. Yes, we will be modifying that per. That's why 401 said this will be modified in kind of like the college playoffs. We will modify based on reaction by various folks. So yes, this was an anomaly. But hey, our playoffs started early, and thank goodness for Mr. 401 because his main guy Derrick Henry was on a bye this week. So we saw Mr. 401 squeak by with a win due to the bye week. Congratulations, Mr. 401. But hey, I want to say this has been a great Robert, a.k.a. the medic, hanging in there, but it don't look good because even though he has a player left, it's Rico Dowdle. Hey, even if you project him for 20 points, that's not going to be enough to come against Lime. Legit. I'm telling you, he put it on me last week, and Puka Nacua. He's riding the Puka Nacua and the Devon A-Chain train all the way to championships. Kittle, 20 points, and Chase Brown's still to go. So, yeah, congratulations because even though it's 83% favorite for Lime legit, my numbers have them 92% favorite to win this game. But yeah, it looks like, but great season, Robert. If you do come back to win, that will definitely be one of the first things we talk about. And yes, the Copier Bowl, the grudge match known as LT and Carter's Peanuts. Wow, it started off good for Carter's Peanuts. He was looking good with Caleb Williams and Brian Thomas Jr. got some points. Kamara was getting some points. And then Tyreek Hill bust out of his shell for a first round pick. But then he had to catch up because Josh Jacobs got that early lead. But then Aaron Jones with his late touchdown, Njoku dominating coverage. But look at that. LT, you started the Westbrook Akine. I said on the show, LT, I said, do not start it. Do not be fooled by the fool's gold known as the touchdown fool's gold of Westbrook Akine. But you know what? I'm saying that because he didn't care because he had hit the 4:00 games, the 4:25 game started, and then halftime happened. And that's what happened, folks. Josh Allen volcano. We call it nuclear. We talk what Godzilla did before he faced King Kong. He got powered up. And I mean, and every time the Rams scored, Josh Allen just said, I'm going to score again. That was it reminded me a lot, folks, of back in the day. It was that Monday night game. If y'all remember back in the day, it was a Jared Goff Rams versus a Kansas City Mahomes Chiefs. Remember that 48-46, whatever it was, that just back and forth and everybody erupted. But man, Josh Allen, and even when LT was struggling to praise McConkey, he wanted more points. He already had 50 points, but he said he wanted more. LT said, I'm hungry for more. And sure enough, Josh Allen got a couple pass interference penalties and rushed it in for a third rushing touchdown. Folks, you can't get better than that. And folks, I was going against Josh Jacobs in a 14-team league, and the reason we start a week early in that 14-team league is we have a setup, Mr. 4-1 and LT. Everybody makes the playoffs. So if everybody makes the playoffs in a 14-team league, first seed, 2 seed, they get a first round bye, and then everybody plays. And the only way you can do that, you have to start a week early. So I was actually number 3 seed, and I was going against the last place team, but he had Josh Jacobs. And I was like, oh my gosh, how in the world is this guy last place? Josh Jacobs. I mean, and he had Waddle, who, and probably one of the reasons he's last place, Waddle had a terrible year this year, but he had a good week this past week. So I couldn't catch up, but hey, and he had Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp was in that game, and when he scored, I thought it was done. But no, Josh Allen would not let me lose, and thank you, Josh Allen, and would not let LT lose with his thing. So, yeah, and Josh Palmer, great pickup. Like I said, LT won. He said, I'm going to get as many points as possible because it's going to be hard. Not even the Jason Witten helmet off the head game will be able to get Carter's Peanuts back in the striking distance. So, yeah, it was something else.
Well, I never want to lose the Copier Bowl, but Josh is always a hard out, and he still has a chance. Okay, if Ferguson gets 46 points tonight, he can still tie me. His Jake Ferguson needs 46.
Okay.
For a guy that runs 3-yard outs, not going to happen. We'll see Yahoo's prediction of 99% favorite. and if Yahoo has you 99% favorite to win, I'm sorry. There's only a couple guys that could get you those points. Josh Allen, and he's not playing, and Jamar Chase. Those are the only 2 people. Oh, and not even Brock Bowers. I don't even think Brock Bowers got that last week. I know he had. I know he was. It was a lot last week. Here, we can go to our UC show bench players. Who has Brock? Oh, I know. I played against Brock Bowers this past week. That's Brooks. Yeah. Brooks paid $50 for Brock Bowers, but if you look at Brock Bowers, the highest score for the tight end was last week. 30 points.
He had 10 catches for 140 and a touchdown.
Yeah, so he would have to break a tight end record to get that. And like I said, Jake Ferguson coming off of an injury, it is a Cooper Rush. There's a lot of things that's going to prevent him from getting the points he needs. But, hey, it is what it is. I congratulate you. And I think that 13 points from Palmer, gave you a little extra breathing room.
Definitely helped.
Yeah. So with that said, that's pretty much it. It looks like if things hold, Mr. 411, it looks like you'll be playing Lions, legit team.
Ooh.
And it'll be LT versus Flight Squad. So that looks like a good matchup. Flight Squad, he's had a good year all year too. So I think that's going to be a great matchup between LT and Flight Squad next week.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Both matchups should be fun, and we'll see where it all goes.
Yeah, especially with Lime Legit's Puka Nakua doing what he's doing, Mr. 411. It's going to be a hard out.
Absolutely. All right, well, we'll get there. Hey, and by the way, don't not to brag or anything, but who gets the high points for the season?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's look at that then. Let's see. High points for the season. Oh, well, that was last week, Mr. 4-1. I don't think they counted this week. So, hey, you got high points for the season.
Okay.
1932. So congrats. Yeah, your triple option that worked its magic. So congratulations, Mr. 401. You were the season the prize winner of not only number one seed but overall points, because we in our league and my home league as well that I play in, we don't care about record, we care about total points. So if you win total points, you usually win your money back. So congratulations, Mr. 411. You got high points for the year.
And this is coming from a team that really voted against this edition.
Yeah.
And now we get the benefit for it. So hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Hey, Army had a great season with their running their single T wing T options,
Man.
and we ran our triple options. So great year for running teams this year.
Yeah, and folks, I'm telling you, if you watch Army, I'm gonna bring up Army just quick. I know this isn't a college show, but that Army quarterback reminded me of Taysom Hill back in his BYU days. He could run, and we saw Taysom Hill be successful as a tight end / quarterback in the NFL. Hey, Saints, after the guy does his service, go and pick him up.
Why not?
To the team. Why not? I mean, the guy's a straight stud as an athlete. The man had over 140 yards against Notre Dame in their game, even though they got crushed. So
every team should get them a Taysom Hill type player.
Yes. I mean, okay, and then say somebody gets hurt, and then your backup quarterback gets hurt. You have an emergency quarterback already on your team. So it could be worse. Yeah, I like that quarterback for Army.
That's right. We call it the Swiss Army knife position or something.
Yep.
Come up with a name for it. But I think that's that's something that every team should have. And fantasy football, look for players like that as well. Mm-hmm. But yes, it is time now for Lacy's favorite part of the show.
Get ready, Lacy. Get ready. We might, if there's a time delay, our producers will be hard at work trying to get your thing. We know her first pick is Saquon Barkley if she gets number one pick, so we'll have that already. We'll give that to her if she gets first pick. But right now, LT, even though you got a 0 from Kenneth Walker III, I feel for you because it was a great matchup. Yeah, Josh Allen has you the lead right now, but Lacy can still sneak in if she has a Jamar Chase game. Unfortunately, Mr. 401, even though you have Burrow, I don't see you getting there. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a tough week, man. Tough week.
I mean, think about it. AJ Brown and Kelsey, I mean, who would have thought those guys would have let you down? It was just one of those things, look at all these guys. We didn't have a Puka Nacua, on here. But I should have known better because, folks, I'll tell you right now, if you have a Ram, a Matthew Stafford, if they are playing a predominantly zone run defense, a.k.a. Minnesota, a.k.a. Buffalo Bills, Matthew Stafford will get 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Write it down. He will get 300 yards, 2+ touchdowns every time he plays a zone dominant team. He struggles against man-to-man. We saw that in the Saints game. It's a calculator. What he struggled against Saints. Saints didn't play zone. They said, I ain't playing zone. I'm playing man-to-man. Matt Stafford is going to have to beat me with great throws. Zone, he can pick it apart. He's done it his whole career. So defensive coordinators, you got it. You got your advice out here from the calculator. Do not play zone. Even if you're a zone dominant team, Matthew Stafford will eat you up. Play man-to-man. And yes, hard to play man-to-man when you have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, but hey, that's what you use called bracket coverage. You don't have to double cover both of them because you still have to worry about Kyron Williams out of the backfield. But hey, I'm taking my chance on man-to-man. I'm going to have to make Matthew Stafford beat me with the good throws, not let him just do because then if you play zone early on, Mr. 4-1, what's going to happen? He gets in a rhythm and then he gets his confidence. No, you got to go man-to-man from the get-go and try and make them struggle. So yeah, that's a little quick thing. So, but with that said, it will come down to Jamar Chase to see if LT can take over and win the week from Lacy. I'm already out of it. As you said, Jordan Love killed me again. I'm on St. Brown. LT, I think I'm just going to give him to you next week because he's actually killed me. I was like, I'll give him right back because he's been killing me this past week. So, but with that said, we're going to go to week 15. We're going to the Wheel of Names right here on the screen, and let's see who is going to get the first pick. Oh, well, guess who's getting Saquon Barkley this week, folks? I have not had the first pick in a long time. So calculator, I finally get, and I usually like the later picks until Saquon Barkley's been having the year he's been having. So with that, now I'm not picking them yet because I still got to go through my. I have a cheat sheet on the side that I don't share with people, so I will see if that is a thing. Oh, it looks like this could be Lacy. So Lacy, get ready. You are on deck. You have the number 2 pick. Listening to our show live. Lacy, thank you very much. As always, we always appreciate when she comes in, even though she's not feeling 100%. Oh, this could be Stone Cold right here. LT, I think you got it.
Number 3.
Yep, LT, you got it. Oh, so 411. That means you're gonna bring up the rear with back-to-back.
All right, we'll do it. I bet it lands on my team.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So with that said, we got our lineup. So I'm going to go to the spreadsheet and put LT number 3 and put 411 as here. And I automatically said I'm going to go to Barkley, but I got to confirm that. All right. And guess what, folks? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going Saquon Barkley first pick. I don't like going up against the Steelers. Steelers, they can stop the run sometimes, and they every night they were able to slow down Derrick Henry and here. So I'm going to go to Derrick Henry. That's right, the second next guy. Hey, he's got a bye week. He's fresh, and guess what, folks? He's going against the New York Giants. So give me Derrick Henry with my first pick. So Lacy, I saved her. I saved her Saquon Barkley. If she wants Saquon Barkley, she might say matchup be darn. So Lacy, who are you going with your first pick? Are you going to do the music, Mr. 411, while we're waiting for her to post her pick?
Do.
See where she's at.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
did she make her pick?
She did. Oh. Lamar Jackson.
I didn't see the pick. Okay. Oh, there we go. Is. Lamar Jackson. Well, like I said, you have to go with, you're playing. It was either him or Derrick Henry for against the Giants. So yes, that's a good pick. LT, your pick. No bye weeks too. That's what I love about this week.
No bye weeks. Ooh.
So I don't have to pick Jordan Love this week.
Against the Saints. Ooh. Well, since I'll go back to the well. I'll make it safe. I'll take Josh Allen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm about to say, man. I knew who you were contemplating. Yeah. So I might have to pick him up myself if he's
Jaden Daniels could definitely have a good game against the Saints.
Yes, he could.
Especially after they rested up after the bye.
Bye week. 411. It's your pick.
All right, give me A-Chain, and I have a backup, right? Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. You got AJ. Good pick, A-Chain. Miami Dolphins playing Houston.
And give me Puka. And give me Puka Nacua.
Okay.
I'll just take them.
Okay, Puka Nacua.
A-Chain and Puka. Okay.
All right, LT, you're up. And Lacy, get ready for your pick. LT's up, and you're on deck.
Well, I'm going to go with. I think Justin Jefferson can do it back-to-back games, and they are playing the Chicago Bears. I'll take Justin Jefferson.
Okay. The one thing that worries me about Justin. Oh, this is late. One thing that worries me about Justin Jefferson though is Jane Johnson, the stud quarterback for Chicago. Now Justin Jefferson, sometimes they can hide him in the slot so he can shut down Addison. So that's the good thing about Justin Jefferson. And sometimes he could be, defense proof if you use him the way Kevin O'Donnell should use him. All right. Has Lacy come up with her pick, folks? Because I got two screens.
Yep. Terry McLaurin.
Oh.
Good pick. Good pick.
That is
Oh
a good
yeah,
pick.
they play in New Orleans this week.
Playing New Orleans. Yep. Yeah. And see, I mean, I'm gonna go tight end because nobody's picked a tight end. So you know, and well, the thing is, I got to pick a tight end, and you know, the Aiden O'Connell injury, I don't want the Desmond Ritter experience. So I'm just going to lock down my McBride pick. I think he's solid. He's got a nice matchup at home against that New England secondary. So I think McBride's going to have a huge game. So I'm going to go with McBride. 2 quarterbacks are off the board. And I like 3 quarterbacks out there. So that's why I'm going to stay away from quarterback because LT needs a running back. Lacy needs a running back. Oh, I got a running back. Let's see, wide receiver. Oh, never mind. I got to go quarterback because all 3 receivers are taken. So it might as well get my quarterback, even though I like 3 of them because I know my next pick would come with. But hey, we know Josh Allen's good. I mean, but oh man, do I really want to go? Pittsburgh's still scared. I know Burrow showed he can throw on Pittsburgh. However, Hurts has not been throwing well. People have been Philadelphia is not winning because of Jalen Hurts. They're winning because of Saquon Barkley and that awesome defense. So I'm going to stay away. Normally, I would do Hurts and get one of my rushing touchdowns, but I'm not. I'm going to go. Hey, LT, I'm glad 411 didn't take your advice because I'm going to go with them indoors off a bye week. Jane Daniels.
Yep.
I thought Mr. 401 was going to pick him, so I'm glad he didn't. If he would have, I would have just probably went with Jalen Hurts then, anyways. So now it's so I went back to back. So now it's Lacy. Has Lacy gotten her pick yet in?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, now the music coming, waiting for Lacy's pick. She needs a running back and a tight end.
Yep, that would have been a good stack, Lacy. Sure would have been.
Well, it's hard to pass up Lamar Jackson.
You took Lacy's quarterback.
Well, I didn't take her quarterback. She had Lamar Jackson.
The Grinch that stole Christmas.
She could have had him with McLaurin.
Okay, Joe Mixon.
Oh, so she went with Mixon?
Yep.
Oh, good pick. Off a bye week again. I think he's number 2 in the league in touchdowns behind Henry. And number 3. Well, I don't know if he's number 3 in yards. I don't know because Kyron Williams has scored a touchdown too. It's close, but I know Mixon has had a fabulous year this year. Mixon going. I think he has the Miami, so they might want to keep that offense off the field. So, all right, LT, you need a running back or a tight end?
Well, I'm going tight end, and I really, really want to pick Brock Bowers, but I'm going with George Kittle.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you saw it. You heard 411 was trying to bait you because we know 411 was going to go Kittle with the pick. Mr. 411 was trying to bait you. You can have him.
Yeah.
You can have Brock Bowers.
You can have Bowers.
Yeah.
All the powers.
Yeah. All right, Mr. 411, you need a quarterback and a tight end.
Well, give me Jordan Love and give me Brock Bowers.
Jordan Love looking for the bounce back.
Oh, well, you can have him.
Yeah.
I've had him 3 times this year. He got hurt twice, and then the 3rd time he just wasn't good. Against a team with 7 new defensive players, mind you. All right, LC, you need a running back to fill out your team.
Ooh. You know, one thing that I keep thinking about, like you just said about Jordan Love, the one thing as a fantasy owner is what we should not do is look at names and look at points. But once someone burns you, you really just don't go back to them, no matter how good of a season they have.
You know, I agree.
I'm taking Josh Jacobs as
that whole spot for him to say Josh Jacobs.
He's still gonna take Jacob. Okay.
And I know about being burned because I had Josh Jacobs last year and he was terrible. But I was chasing points because he had such a phenomenal year the year before last.
Right.
Absolutely. But hey, I'm not gonna lie. I have Josh Jacobs in one of my keeper leagues. I actually have, folks. I have the Josh Jacobs Gibbs combo, which is really really nice. Having that, I had Gibbs as my keeper, and then I picked up Jacobs with my second pick because my first pick was Jamar Chase. So those three guys have been carrying me in that league. So, all right, Lacy needs a tight end to fill it up. Is she going Bowers? Oh, no. 411 said no, she can't have Bowers. Oh, I know who she's probably going with, but we'll let her pick. I'm not going to give it.
There we go. David Njoku.
Njoku, yeah. Njoku. Very good pick. Very good pick. All right, and I need my wide receiver. And hey, we talked about it. I'm going to confirm. We got to look at who Cincinnati's playing. Cincinnati's playing Tennessee. Better run defense. So hey, well, I hope he don't get hurt this week. That's the only thing. He could get hurt, and then because I like Tyreek Hill at home against Houston, I think that's going to be somewhat of a shootout. Because they're indoors, and Tyreek Hill looks like he's back. With Tua slinging it around.
He played very well yesterday.
Yes, he did. But Jamar Chase is just phenomenal. But that could be an out. That's out. Hey, I'm sorry. They're at home. Houston's going to keep him on. I'm going with Tyreek Hill.
Good pick. Good pick.
He could explode any game.
Anytime. 28 points this past week. So. All right. So a brief rundown of our picks for the mini draft. Yours truly has Jane Daniels, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, and McBride. Lacey went with Lamar Jackson, Mixon, Terry McLaurin, and David Njoku. LT has Josh Allen, going with the Joshes, LT. I hear you. Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, just with the J's too. The double J on Justin Jefferson. I hear you. And Kittle as his tight end. 411, Jordan Love. Good luck. Devon A-Chain, Puka Nacua, and Brock Bowers. So that's our rundown for the mini draft.
All right. Closing remarks, LT.
Good luck to everybody in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, and if you're starting your playoffs, good luck. And we gave you some waiver wires for the people that have first and second round buys that possibly could get there. There's nothing guaranteed in fantasy football. So that's why you always play the what if game. So just make sure your what ifs are carried out, So, and Lacey, get better soon. Hope to see you next week.
That's right, Lacey. Get well. We appreciate you. Great job drafting as well. And yes, the playoffs are here. Enjoy it. That's the number one thing with fantasy football is to enjoy it. And it's always next season.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, for LT, for Lacy Dawson, and for Mr. 411, we thank everybody once again for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Definitely enjoy you. And enjoy those games this weekend. You got the college football, you got everything going on. So just be ready. All right.
All right. See you.
All right, guys. We out of here.
Bye.